Our view is that the SPAC markets have really undertaken a pretty dramatic transformation just in the last sort of 12 to 18 months. I think Morgan just mentioned Virgin Galactic. I mean, our view is that the SPAC market is becoming the market of choice for high growth transformative companies. So think, Virgin Galactic, think DraftKings. And as such, we think it's a really interesting market to invest in. So, if you want to participate in this growth, though, it's a little hard to do directly, particularly as a retail investor. Many hundreds of companies, some are pre-announcement, some are post-announcement, and, there'll be winners and there'll be losers as well. So very hard to do unless you're a very sophisticated investor. So SPXZ will really give investors a liquid, transparent, diversified, professionally managed vehicle to invest and sort all these issues out for investors on a continuous basis. So, we think actually being, long these kinds of companies is something that really makes a lot of sense. I mean, obviously, these kinds of transformative companies have, changed the landscape of the world and the investing landscape as well. And we think the SPXZ ETF will be a good place to invest. As you mentioned, I mean, obviously, the SPAC markets are on quite a run. Both the volume of issuance, the performance of many of the deals has been quite good. And, that obviously, unlikely to continue forever. So I'm sure there'll be, as always, there are cycles in these markets, and this will be one as well. But we do think it's a sector that's here to stay. I mean, there are real reasons. It's not a fad. There are real reasons why this is an important market for issuers, for investors. And it really comes around the fact that it's just a different format in which companies, particularly high growth companies, have a better opportunity to tell their story during the period where they're going public. And so we think that means it's something that's going to be, it's going to be a very important sector. I mean, as an example, 80% of the announced SPAC in the past year have been industries shaping the future, like electric power vehicles and space, as you got. Sorry.
Of course. I mean, you mentioned that there will be losers, and of course, we're bracing for that. But because it's so new, I wonder how you think those losers will be explained, and whether or not you'll feel the SPAC space be on the defensive in the early days of things that go wrong.
Well, I think, in many respects, it's not going to be any different from the traditional IPO market. I mean, there are companies there that have done extremely well, gone on to be huge companies. There are companies there that have not done as well. And I think you'll have the same thing in the SPAC environment. But I do think that's one of the reasons, for instance, in our SPXZ ETF, the concept of active management and professional management we think is important, because as you do have, we think actually the growth in the market is something that's very positive, because you have more SPACs means you have more opportunities for companies to go public. So, it'll actually be a virtuous circle there. But, there are definitely going to be winners and losers. And so it's important that, you basically position yourselves to, have a higher share of the winners than the losers, obviously.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.